Thank you. We're live!
Wowie! Every week we're just amazed it works.
Yeah, I mean the streaming.
Hopefully you guys
crazy.
don't get. Hopefully you guys don't get any crazy deep voices this time.
Oh, they like the deep voices.
I talk like this from the rest of the stream.
Just a little bit. I just talk like this.
It's very off-putting.
Yeah.
I guess we'll be able to agree.
Did that again.
And we
I don't know what that
are
glitch is. It's very strange.
live. GIF. Behave.
Oh, it's always the behave for some reason.
Don't misbehave.
It's a good GIF.
All right, I'm gonna do the intro. Hello and welcome to the Pixel Podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm here with Ethan
Hey, how's it going?
and Ricardo.
That's me.
There's a bit of a delay there.
I was trying to. I for some reason couldn't decide what I was gonna say, and I want to say something like actually coherent, and so I could only come up with that's
At
me.
least you're going for coherent. You know, that's a good.
That's me.
Good benchmark.
Because otherwise, I would just be, or like, or
That'd be most of the podcast at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're back. You
Where
thought
did
you
we
got
go?
rid of you thought you got rid of us.
Yeah.
But we're back.
You thought you lost us in that tunnel.
But turns out we're gonna come back every week and do a podcast, even if today's Wednesday instead of Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing an early podcast this week. But for those listening on the recording, they don't care about that. They care about what video games we've been playing.
Yeah.
What video games have we been? Well, I mean, ostensibly.
A lot of
Yes.
old games this week.
Man, you played a lot of games. I just realized.
A few.
Ethan.
Yeah.
Ethan plays 25 games a week. Doesn't actually spend any time with loved ones or family. Just
No,
only
I
plays
don't.
games.
I don't.
And
that.
that's all he does. Yeah.
It just takes time away from games, so I don't understand.
Only games.
Let this be
Ethan,
a
what
lesson
games-
to you kids.
What was the lesson? What they should learn from this?
That gaming is the future. Your family, they'll
Not
be
the
gone.
future.
They'll be gone
someday.
soon.
They'll be
Yeah.
gone someday.
Yeah.
Your friends.
Games will still be there for you.
Games will always be there.
Holding on.
Yeah.
So what do we want to start with? Do you want to start with the
games-
old? Do we want
games
to start
you've
with?
been playing,
Do we want to start with the new games? Do we start with the older games?
Start with whatever games that you feel compelled
right.
to open your mouth about.
Let's talk about Onward then. So I got into a VR hole, as you do every
God.
so often.
Oh no,
Sometimes
this
you
is the
just-
worst kind of hole.
Sometimes you just sit there and you're just like, I'm just gonna open up this VR and see what's in it, and you're just shocked and appalled by everything you see. But this is a game. I had some credit left over from a time when the Oculus runtime services ran out, so you couldn't log in.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the games I'm hearing a lot about is this Onward game, which is, I think it released first in early access on PlayStation, but it's come to all the other VR platforms. But it is basically, if I can describe it succinctly, it's Counter-Strike and America's Army in VR. So it's like very slow. It's like slow.
From that name, I'm gonna be honest. I would have never guessed that that's what the game was
it's not a
about.
great name.
That's not.
I was
not a
like,
great
this
name.
sounds like some kind of like indie walking simulator
Nope.
or something.
Nope. I mean, it is an indie game. It definitely, you can tell its budget is small because a lot of the maps look pretty bare bones and bad. It is early access, so I give them that. But the coolest thing about it is just in tutorial, you kind of get the idea of this is a game where it really wants you to embody like a person in that world. For example, you have the whole like, oh yeah, choose your gun. Here's this M16. You pull it out and you fire all your bullets, and you have to use your left arm or left hand to steady the gun, or else it like flies up everywhere.
Okay,
makes sense. That's fine.
But how does go on? Just go on.
When you're done firing and you're out of bullets, you click a button and the magazine drops out, and then you grab one from your belt and slot it in, and then pull the firing pin back, and then you're ready to go. And it sounds so silly, but it feels really cool every time you do it, because it's just like,
no, I can see that feeling cool.
Yeah. So it has. That's just a broad example. Some of the other examples are you have grenades all across your chest. You can grab one, pull the pin, physically pull the pin, wait, and then throw it and it explodes.
Cook it. You gotta cook the grenade.
Everyone, guys, you should know that the pin is not what triggers the grenade timer.
It's the little let go thing.
Lever. So holding it in your hand does not cook the pin. Does not cook
true.
it anymore.
It's true. That's not realistic. I should tell them.
Holding onto the lever.
It's not realistic either. That like I had like the firing chamber open too, and was just able to shoot crazily, and I'm like, that's not how. You can't do that.
I don't know how guns work. To be honest, if I'm honest, I don't know how.
I don't know either. Ethan just said those words like
One time, like stuff. Like I played Metal Gear Solid 3, and
so you know how to dig bullets out of your arms. What you're saying?
They sure talk a lot about it.
Yeah.
Specifically, the Colt single action army
one scene,
being one of the greatest revolvers ever created.
Because single actions never jam because you don't have a magazine to deal with.
See, that I don't know.
Sure, yeah. Sure.
Other cool things.
There's no problems with it.
Other things you got is you get your sidearm, so you reach to your right side. If you run out of ammo, you can just drop your gun, just grab your sidearm and start shooting with that.
This gun.
Yeah, you can. You can throw your gun at people and they'll go, ah! And then you also have a knife that's up here, which is pretty cool. So you can go up here and you're like, oh, I'm going to stab you. And you.
Oh, my God.
Which is cheesy. It doesn't feel like you're actually stabbing. It feels like you're just slicing the other person goes, ah! And then they ragdoll out. The other thing I thought was really cool is this. So there's proximity chat, right? So anywhere in your distance or anywhere close to you, you can talk to your teammates, but also your enemies can hear you. But if you reach up to your left side and hit the grab button, you can activate the radio. And there's a lot of sounds coming out of your microphone there, Matt. I think.
Or through our headphones, I don't know.
Something. It sounded like it's fine now.
Yeah,
it's
a bunch of sounds just happened, but I don't even know how that happened.
Don't worry about it. It's fine now. Anyway, yeah, you press the button on your upper left shoulder, and you actually can chat into like a long distance sounding like walkie-talkie, where it actually goes like makes the whole sound and everything, and your enemies can hear you talking over the radio. Like, it's those little things that make it really cool when you actually get into a match, and then you're running around. And you actually like, you have to crouch behind something? You physically have to crouch, son. If you want to lay down, you have to actually lay down on the ground to shoot. And it tracks it all really well, and it works super good. Which is like the bare minimum this game does is like your actions feel like they're actually being represented well on the screen. And then you're going around just shooting people. And I got in this match, and it felt very old school VR, or old school just kind of like when you got in like match lobbies with people and like Counter-Strike, where these people are like, okay, this round we're gonna all use shotguns with only flashlights, don't use anything else. And so you walk around,
you just do it,
and you walk up to people and you click the button to turn on your flashlight, and you blind people to go, I can't see it, and you just start shooting around. It's really funny, and it's just like, okay, that was fun. Let's only use sidearms. Okay, we're only gonna use knives, and knives is dumb. Don't do that. If anyone says that, say no, it's a bad idea. It's not fun.
That's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea.
Because what happens is you both pull out a knife and try to stab each other, and you kill each other at the same time. So it's
a good design game.
Yeah, like there's a lot of weird janky stuff to that, but it is really fun. But it's when you break it down, it's nothing too much more special than like it's just Counter-Strike basically. You wait until the end of the round, then you go back in, you pick your side, got for terrorist type deal. And yeah, it is surprisingly cool. I think it was only $15. It's on sale despite being in early access, and I think it was well worth a VR purchase. Another VR game I played, which only is cool. It's not that great of a game, but it was only cool because of the little weird story I had in it.
Okay.
There was a free weekend for this game called Social Club VR, and it's kind of like it tries to be a little more of a rec room with gambling. So you walk in, and it's like a cool casino, and it's like you want to play.
Smoke.
You can. You get a cigar, and you can be all like, yeah, and then you can throw it at someone because you already throwing things at people.
Burn their face with it.
Yeah. But there's like you walk over to a roulette table.
Can you cheat? You should be able to cheat.
I don't think so.
You should be able to cheat because you can be able to sleight of hand with your.
I don't think so.
And then the pit boss beats the shit out of you.
It takes you away. You get caught, all your chips go away. There's like craps. There's I believe there's roulette. There is what's that other game called? Blackjack. But what was most interesting to me is they just had a chess table just set out there. And the very first time I logged in, started walking around, saw these two like VR headsets playing chess, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like that's like a nice thing to be like, this is what you can do with the chessboard. Because they're acting too weird. They're like putting their hands on their head and like resting their hands like on their face, and I'm like, that's weird. Why would you ever do that? And then I realized they were real people just playing chess, and they were just playing chess for like an hour.
Did they have the little thing too?
No, they almost did. They might as well have, but it was great seeing people like pick up a chess piece, look around, be like, and then the other person would be like, you can't make that move.
I was gonna say, like, does the game restrict you, like, where you can put, or you could technically be like,
just swat the whole thing and throw them all over. Because I could have done that. Like, I could have walked up and just went swat and swatted them all away. I didn't do that.
But then you would not be accepted in the social club.
Exactly. I'd get banned from social club.
You didn't? Are you sure?
I didn't. Instead, I weirdly just sat on the floor of my house and just watched them play for like 20 minutes. It was fascinating because the other part that was fun about it is that you could tell when they're like, oh, game's done. All right. And their hands would drop, so it'd go limp. And it's like, oh, I know how that is. They just dropped their controllers and went and grabbed the drink. And then you see them like actually like these weird floppy hands holding like an invisible drink that they're drinking. And I'm just like, it's just stuff like that is just so weird. And just, it's a fun like experience where it's like, okay, I'm going to have like, a couple hours to spare. I'm just going to sit in this weird VR world. And then you come out and you're like, whoa, reality's crazy and weird. But it sucks because
That's not what you say every time you took the headset off.
Whoa, like, nobody's in the room with you at all.
I'm all alone.
You go into your roommate's room and watch them play chess, right?
Exactly.
You just like walk into their room,
sit there awkwardly,
and they're just like, "What are you doing?"
They throw things at me when they're bored. But yeah, that was just a cool experience. It sucks because that game actually seems cool because they have like a whole like. The more money you win, the more dumb stuff you could spawn into people's places and throw it at them. But like the game is kind of dead. Besides that free weekend, like I couldn't find many rooms besides that, which is unfortunate because it seems like a well enough made game. Like I played the blackjack for a bit with some friends, or some people.
Oh, I love the blackjack.
And it was cool. It was cool playing that. It was just a fun little thing to hang out. There's a way you could turn on YouTube and like switch channels. So like went to some weird channels I accidentally left on, and then like forgot about it. It's just like weird infomercials that started playing, and I was like, oh, this is a dark side of YouTube. And then I went to like infomercial poops, YouTube poops.
Oh boy,
it was very interesting.
What about
autoplay forever? Huh? Yeah. Just see where that leads you.
It's because it's not VR chat. That's all people want to play together.
I don't know. I don't play in VR, but VR chat's dumb because it's literally just go into a weird place, look around, say something probably racist, and then leave.
I know. I'm not saying. I think VR chat looks like the worst thing, and like I would never ever want to be in a VR chat. But like,
yeah, people want that. I feel like this is supposed to be like a different type of Rec Room. But the thing about Rec Room is why it has such a good player base is that it's free. I still don't know how to make money off Rec Room. Like I still don't. You sign
volume.
Just volume?
I don't know.
The more people we have on the servers, the more money we make.
Waiting to get bought is what's happening.
Maybe. But yeah, that was my quick foray into VR. But going all the way back to kind of more old school games. Actually, my roommate Mike slash the other podcast host that I work with, he decided to play. To stream Stories Untold. Or Untold Stories to some of us.
Stories Untold. Stories Untold.
Stories Untold, which
Game,
is a
name whatever, right?
text adventure / adventure game.
Not a text adventure because there's graphics.
There are graphics, so it's like a weird. I don't really know how to
It's an
describe
adventure
it.
game
know,
where you use a command line interface.
But it's not always a command line. Sometimes it's like a.
So it's just an adventure game.
You interact with a computer in an adventure game. Interactive computer adventure game.
Yeah.
It's
go
a
with
Her
that.
Story like.
Kind of.
It is separated into 4 different episodes, each of them having like a different theme
Gimmick.
or gimmick.
Are they spooky?
The first one is good. The first one is very good. The second one I still liked a lot. The third one I liked a little less. The fourth one I didn't like at all.
You didn't like the fourth one at all. You
I
didn't
didn't
like
like
the
the
way
fourth one at
the
all.
story concludes.
No, because it was. No, I don't want to
Just
spoil.
fall
it.
apart
Yeah.
by the end. You don't have to spoil it, but this is just like this is the plot.
It just kind of falls apart on itself. By the fourth one, I probably gonna upload all those and save them to the Pixel Legends channel if you guys want to watch a whole playthrough of it. I'll break it up by episodes because they're all about 45 minutes long, which is a nice length, which is kind of sucky because you can't save in the middle of it and come back because there's one part where
That's
crashed.
what I was gonna say. I think that the game is extremely well made, and I think that the story, although maybe a little bit predictable, like if you're actually like paying attention to like a lot of the nuance and stuff, I think it's well done. But I think for you, one of the main issues was that you guys had that glitch happen where you couldn't continue on.
that was a
with the
bummer.
game.
On the fourth
then
episode,
you had to start back the fourth episode all over and basically speed run the first half of it.
Oh jeez.
It's just, but I just feel like the fourth episode wasn't inventive and just kind of like I know it was supposed to tie stuff together, but it was like I felt like it was just recycling more so than making anything new with it.
Jeff,
You know what I
feel.
mean? Like I didn't. I thought it was weak because of that. I wish they were all just fun little stories, you know.
But yeah, the House Abandoned, which is the first episode, I think it is worth either watching somebody play or
Yeah.
playing through yourself, because that is in and of itself a small like 45-minute experience
Yeah.
is a really good and really well done.
And the
thing.
second episode I really liked too. I just like the actual interface of what you're doing. Like I thought that was a cool puzzle element that some games do, but I think this one did it to the nth degree where you're controlling a big machine and trying to figure out how to operate it correctly.
Yeah, it really depends too, I think, because every episode revolves around a different gimmick. It depends on what kind of gimmicks you're more receptive to.
That's true.
Because the third is all about that like the what is it?
Decoding things.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like decoding. You're at
ham radio
a
stuff.
signal, like a what is it? A call? Wait, it's like a call station.
Number station.
Yeah, a number station. You're getting all these weird codes, and you have to go to the specific page and say like, if this matches this is the command you have to input, and like all
Yeah.
this stuff. And so that eventually became easier to just have someone in the chat. Basically just copy and paste
down.
all the yeah, write down all the things for you guys to
It
then
was
just
literally
copy
just like look at the thing and you
and
have to keep
paste.
tapping back and forth.
Yeah.
And that was a
so you
horseshit,
don't
but-
have to keep going back and forth.
How did non-gamer Mike handle?
He did okay, except he
the
wasn't used to the
experience?
keyboard, so he kept smashing the tab key a lot and like changing the screen.
He's
Yeah.
not used to the key. Is he not used a computer before?
Well, no,
I think it's just you
it's-
get used to a keyboard and you go to a different one.
well,
that's not
no, I think the
yours.
thing was that like he is, there's like different fields, and he tried to hit tab to go to the next field and
Oh, yeah,
continue
most
typing.
computers, yeah.
But it was a command in the game, like to go to a different screen or go to like a different
right,
element
right,
of
right,
the
right.
screen, and so he kept like getting pulled away on accident. Yeah.
Stories Untold. Yes, no, maybe.
yeah, it's only like $10. I think it's definitely worth.
And again, I think that first episode is really Mike. I don't know what he told you afterwards or whatever, but he seemed to really like it.
the first episode. Yeah,
but
you like the first episode.
I think I think when the
once you figure out how
episode
it
concluded, I think he was like, I really like this.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think he enjoyed himself overall.
Let's see what else we got here. And then
Ethan's never-ending game
I know.
series.
No, this one's gonna be quick. Lindsay was curious and wanted to know some cool games she may have missed out on. So I was like, well, so I made this.
Oh, Mass Effect. Yeah, it's a
figured
good
out a big list. Yeah, I was thinking like Mass Effect. Well,
play that with
that's
her. You should
long.
play that with her.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then you
starting
should stream the whole
small.
thing.
I'm starting off small.
No one's done that.
No one's done that.
Never been
Original
done
content.
before.
So I was like, well, I got a list here, and I broke it down to a few different games. And I was like, okay, well, let's do BioShock, because I know she's mentioned interest in that before. And the BioShock Remastered came out, I think, a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago. Which came out to I think the latest consoles like PlayStation 4, Xbox One, but also you get a free update if you already own it on Steam. So I booted that up, put that bad boy in 4K, and started playing through it, and that game looks pretty good still. Like, I know it's the remaster.
Strong art
style. It's a remaster,
so the art style, yeah. I don't think, to me, it doesn't look that much different, but that's one of those things where you're like,
this game in 4K that's been updated to be in 4K looks very good.
4K, yeah, and you know, it ran pretty good on my computer. It's not really meant for 4K running stuff. But yeah, I'm just surprised how good that game holds up. Not just in terms of graphics, but also kind of the gameplay is fine. But I think the way it doles out its story is something that I think gets bogged down in a lot of bigger games. I think because it's not that long of a game. It's only like 12 hours maybe, 12, 13 hours. It's
you can get through it in about 10, 12 hours.
It starts dropping like interesting stuff almost right away about hints about the world. You see interesting characters like right away. Like you already got to the Doctor. I already saw his whole arc. Like very quickly within like I feel like maybe an hour and a half. Like you got to him. Like that was I thought that was way later in the game, but I guess just refreshing to just kind of not be like teased a lot. And it's just kind of like, we only have a few of these diaries around. You listen to them, they're all pretty important. They all pretty much lead to a thing. They're very short. They don't take forever to listen to.
It's interesting to like go back because that was the first like game that really had those audio logs. Like really
like the original System Shock, System Shock 2.
Well, there you go. Well, like same
place,
same area.
But it is a really cool. It's just interesting how narrative now, I feel like all games now, even kind of smaller games, are just so bloated now. And they're like, we got to have all this lore everywhere and all these things you have to find. And it's like,
for sure,
all of it is like purely environmental storytelling. You just walk around and like see some of the stuff that's written on walls and like the different advertisements.
Wait, doesn't that game have audio logs?
It does. That's what we were just talking about.
Saying.
Yeah. But
that's not purely stuff that's written on walls. That's not purely environmental.
I know, but the thing is, the audio logs are much smaller. They're shorter.
You could not listen to those.
You could not listen to them and still get a pretty good idea. And they make them pretty obvious where to find them. Unlike nowadays, I feel like you have to hunt for them, and then you listen to it, and it makes you stop the game. This lets you play the whole game still. You can still walk around and explore. And I don't know. It's very freeing. It's no Marcus slowing down to talk, even when Atlas is talking at you. But yeah, just want to say, the game holds up pretty well. So it's kind of refreshing to have also a game where there's no inventory management. You just eat everything. You store the atom yourself.
You kind of like you have to go to like kiosks to slot in and out tonics and stuff, right?
Yep.
Like you can't just be like
on the fly stuff.
Yeah.
Also weird because you don't get to use a plasmid and a gun at the same time.
That was the thing that tripped me up a lot playing the first BioShock. It was like, man, I really wish you could more seamlessly combine these two things.
It just seems so needless because the buttons are still on different map differently. So left trigger is plasmid, right trigger is gun. It's like, why not just?
What were some of your favorite plasmids back in the day?
I really liked Enrage. That was my favorite.
Enrage is good.
The throw it stuff, make people mad, hit each other. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones.
I mean, there's like the basic like electricity.
Basic electricity is really good.
I liked. Oh wait, was this in the first BioShock, the wind trap, or was that later?
I think it was.
Where you could like put the wind trap on the ground and then like be like pew pew pew, come chase me, dude, and then they get just launched.
I think that was the original one. Yeah. That's falling asleep by our BioShock talk. So let's move on to what Matt's been playing.
Nothing new. More Spider-Man mostly. But yesterday Amber and I. It is. It's very good. Yesterday Amber and I streamed some more Mass Effect, but we only did it for like an hour because the game started to collapse around us.
Wow.
And the archive of that will be going on. But basically, I just want to talk about how if the mod you install to update the textures in your game says not to install any DLC after that, then you should probably not install DLC after that.
Oh.
Because what happened was I overwrote a bunch of the mod files, I'm guessing, and then Shepard just had like this halo of like black texture, like in like a 10-foot radius around her.
No, that's because you made too many renegade decisions.
Yeah. Well, as we walked around, all the floor just turns black. Like all the floor looks normal until she gets close to it, and then every texture turns like just solid black. Characters' faces started distorting in on themselves in weird ways, and all the like glass walls turned like into like neat like inverted like parallel universe worlds that look terrifying. It is documented, Leslie, but it's on my Twitch page. It will be going up on the YouTube page because we did record an hour. We did record like a full mission, but I have to now completely delete every single game file for Mass Effect, and like I tried just uninstalling it, and that doesn't work.
Does that have cloud saves, or is it just gonna have to be like?
No, but I've already copied the saves and saved them somewhere else.
Okay.
But now I have to go and delete every single game file so that I can reinstall Mass Effect, so that I can reinstall the DLC, that I can put the mod back on.
This is why
messed it all up.
You don't mod your games and you don't play PC games because they fucking suck.
I knew Ricardo was gonna say this. I uninstalled the game and reinstalled it and went and looked back at it, Mass Effect 2 Vanilla, and I'm like, wow, this game looks way worse than I remember it, because I've been playing with we've been playing with this mod, and it looks so good. These are like 4K textures that are on there, and they look really nice. And the game, I was like, man, this game's. Everyone keeps coming to our chat and going like, this game looks pretty great, and I'm like, and I went and booted it up without that, and I'm like, oh,
it doesn't look pretty great.
It's amazing how much textures can really influence, like, because none of the particle effects in BioShock Remastered look great. They look fine, but the game is still easy on the eyes, you know, like it doesn't,
because they probably updated the textures.
All the textures are updated, and I think that's a huge point. I remember doing that in you're gonna hate this, Ricardo. The one time I played all through Half-Life 2 is I had a HD texture mod pack. Fine, right? Like, kind of like, It changed most of the music and put into Dark Knight soundtrack.
What the fuck?
And I didn't realize it.
The same pack, the same
You're
texture
like,
pack.
Man, this sounds like
it was called the cinematic pack, and it also introduced cinematic music, which of course, because it's probably made by someone who's like 16 or 18 or something like that. They're like, the Dark Knight cinematic.
I was gonna say the music that they put into like action sequences in Half-Life 2 is like really good. It's like weird techno-y sort of like.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it afterwards, and I've heard it when I first tried playing the game. But the only time I played all the way through was with that pack. It was weird. And it makes me sad because I kind of liked it that way. I kind of like the.
Can't wait for Christopher Nolan's fucking.
Or was it Dark Knight? Or was it? Might have Batman Begins.
Well, it's either way.
It's
just a Call of Duty.
Can't wait for Christopher Nolan's Half-Life.
It's just Hans. It's just Hans Zimmer pounding on his keyboard.
Yeah.
Like either way,
as he do. Yeah. That's fun modding fact for you, Ricardo.
Bitch, man.
That's the only time I've ever done anything like that where I played.
Listen, this Mass Effect 2 mod is fine as long as you follow the damn instructions, which I did not do. So there you go.
So like, did you not have like all the DLC downloaded and were just like?
Yeah, so I had some of the
that would be neat. Because I remember you had what was it?
I have Lair of the Shadow Broker. I have what else did I get? I got the Arrival DLC. That's already in the game file from Steam that I have. But I did not have the Overlord DLC or Zaid and Kasumi Goto character pack DLCs. So I went and found those.
But you had those installed the previous stream that I was watching.
I did, yeah, and it worked fine. But here's the thing: yesterday we did Zaid's loyalty mission, and I think that's where and that whole mission is entirely new material. So when it started loading in those textures is when I think the game completely was going like, wait a minute, what's going on? I'm just gonna start throwing stuff like, as opposed to Zaid just appearing on what's it, Afterlife, right? Like, you know, just or in Omega where you already were. It doesn't affect the game as much, I don't think. So I think that's where it like really
how mad people were like when they put all that story in like DLC like that, like main characters and things like that.
No, so Zaid and Kasumi have like nothing to do with Mass Effect 2. Like Amber's very disappointed with them actually as characters.
It's
not because
but like
they're bad, but like
the Shadow Broker DLC is really
Shadow Broker
really
DLC is great. That's great. That's one of my favorite DLCs in that whole series.
Overlord is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Overlord is. I think Overlord's pretty predictable. But we'll see what Amber thinks. And we'll Mass Effect 3 has some of the worst DLC in terms of not that it's bad quality. It's actually pretty good that's the point.
But that's
like,
also the thing is I feel like Leviathan is also very
Leviathan and even the DLC character from Mass Effect 3 are pretty essential to the game's plot, and it's kind of a travesty that they weren't included. And Citadel, which is not really essential to the game's plot at all, but it is a really good DLC
That's
pack.
That's the one DLC I never played, and I really
it's legit. It's like if you want to have some nostalgia for Mass Effect, it's a really good send off to the trilogy because it's very much kind of designed as this. Like all your favorites are it's total fan service, but it's fan service in a way that I don't mind. It's not like it's just like everybody's here.
I think the thing about it is also fan service of a situation you're not going to get in the main Mass Effect game. Because everyone's just having fun, which is not something that happens that often in Mass Effect. It's a pretty serious
ain't
game.
fun.
This is serious.
You're a Spectre. You can't have fun.
Exactly.
It's you can. You can dance.
Oh yeah, you can dance. You can do that shift.
All right, that's my Mass Effect 2 story. This Saturday we'll be streaming again, but I have to spend all Saturday morning first combing through the game. I have to go Google search where all the files are stored so I can delete them all.
There's somewhere the goddamn files.
A, B, C, D. All right, moving on. Ethan, we already talked about Ethan.
I'm done.
Ricardo,
Me.
You played a bunch of beat 'em up games.
I played a bunch of beat 'em up games. Capcom came out with the Capcom beat 'em up bundle, which is 6 beat 'em up games. 2 of which did not have Western releases, I want to say. So this is the classics that you remember: Final Fight, Knights of the Round, Captain Commando, and then there's also a lot more obscure ones like what was it? King of Dragons and Warriors of Destiny. Hold on,
I believe you.
Warriors of Fate, excuse me. Not and King of Dragons, and then the previously unavailable on console Armored Warriors and Battle Circuit, both of which are very, very weird, specifically in comparison to the other ones. But this is pretty much those games as you remember them, even including just absolutely ridiculous criminal default difficulties. Now, what's cool about the Capcom beat 'em up bundle is you can actually change the difficulty on the games and even change the ramp up of difficulty in those games. So you can even out the curve. Of course, you have to play through the game. I mean, like you have those options right from the start, but like also you're not necessarily gonna know immediately jumping into these games like how fair is unfair, and guess what? These games are unfair. But I think what's also cool is that you can actually play all the games with drop-in, drop-out multiplayer online, as well as on the couch. And
have you done that?
I have yet to do that. I have seen people play it, and that's another thing is you can set frame delay also.
Oh.
So that, or excuse me, input delay, some kind of thing, to make it so that you can have like a universal smooth experience. You know, maybe not like necessarily like arcade perfect, but if you want to go play online with people. And one of the things that I really, really appreciate is that there's just a lot of cool historical documentation in the game. Like each of the games has some really cool like original arcade artwork, original promotional artwork, a lot of like stuff that would be on the arcade machine, like talking about like, you know how like old school arcade machines would say like have very small descriptions on like how to play the game and how this character controls and stuff. That sort of stuff for every game. That's including cool. Like concept art, and it's really, really neat. Like I find that stuff really, really cool, and it's cool that they preserve that stuff because it's a lot of really cool, good, like really well preserved, good quality stuff.
So the emulation's good too.
And the emulation's great. The emulation is really cool. I don't know. Those games are just fun. I just needed kind of something mindless to play, and I'm like, you know what?
Virtual quarters into.
Yeah, I'm like, I have fond memories of all these games, so I just picked it up. I believe it is $20 for the 6 games.
Right.
So that's, It's
okay.
You know,
Reasonable.
you always look at a price like that and you're like, if it was 15, it would be better. But like, you're always gonna.
But
say
I'll
that,
also say like it'd be ridiculous if it was 25.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just a fun thing. I'd actually like to have some people I'd like to have some people over and play those games like actually in person and see how
they hold up.
Yeah, I feel like beat 'em ups for me at least are like a ton of fun for like the first like couple levels,
Same.
and then I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, we all died. I'm good. Like
I
like,
pushed
you see how I go.
I pushed through Final Fight all in one sitting, and there is just some like, again, when you consider the fact that people are putting quarters into the machine to play this game, like you can see why the tactic is there, but also it feels criminal the way that like you can spawn in.
Very
Does
cheap.
it say how many credits you use?
No, see that
that'd be cool.
that was a thing that I was gonna like wonder if that could be an interesting feature to like see how much money I would have actually taken me to beat this game or that game. So far I've only really dug into Final Fight and Nice the Round. Nice the Round, much more fair game, at least starting out. I only played the first couple levels before I quit out, just because there's more actual straight on defensive mechanics in that game. Like it's pretty cool game, very cult classic, as is Captain Commando. But yeah, that's it's a fun little package that they made there. Capcom's really been doing a really good job with.
Yeah, was it the latest Street Fighter was pretty good, although they put out that TZ Street Fighter
Latest
2.
Street Fighter, Street Fighter 5?
No,
Yes.
the Street Fighter bundle or whatever.
Speaking of old games, they're doing it. They're putting out Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood on PS4.
Yeah, I saw that. Was Symphony of the Night on Xbox 360?
Yes.
Okay,
It
I
was
had
like
that
actually
one.
a very early. Well, no, I mean it was original PS1.
Right.
But like a very early Xbox Live Arcade game. That one that was like, oh man, they could do this now. Was the port of the Symphony of the
I picked
Night.
that up and I was like, I don't understand this game, which is really weird because I bet I would go back to it now and be like, I get it now. But it was like early, like right when 360 came out, I was a kid and was like, what's this?
Yeah,
It looks like ass.
after Dark Souls 3, that might have to be one of the
Interesting.
games that I stream.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it comes out at the end of October because I was
Yeah.
like, maybe that could be Halloween month stream, but like, no.
You could beat Dark Souls 3 by that time.
Probably not, but we're gonna keep trying.
You gotta keep pushing, man. You can do it.
God,
Say as someone
What's
who
the-
almost beat the Bloodborne.
gotta keep clubbing.
Oh yeah, Ethan's streaming all the way
All the way to the end of
That was
Bloodborne.
so
I just-
the
close.
second that's like you're like on the final boss environment, like not like quite, but you're like
He's
About to
getting
trigger the
there.
final
He's
boss.
close to just the base game, getting to the end of it, but
Yep.
it's all right.
Amber's
What
gonna
could have
finish all the
been?
Mass Effect trilogy before Ethan finishes Bloodborne.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
I never beat Bloodborne either, so
Neither
I
did
don't think
I.
you beat any
I haven't
Souls
beat any of
games.
the Souls games.
Well, now you are with Dark Souls 3.
Hopefully.
You're gonna go backwards,
You're gonna go
You gotta go
3,
back
2,
then.
Two. I
1,
do. I
Demon's
own
Souls.
2 already.
and you
So-
did mention you're gonna play it next on
Yeah.
your stream. I heard you. I
No,
heard you.
but that anything I say on the stream though can't be legally held against me though.
Okay.
Like,
You're
I'm
in
gonna
cha-
hit this. Oh, I missed.
You're in character during that time is what you're saying. You're not.
Yes.
That's part of the
Yeah,
act. That's part of the
dude.
bit.
Everything I say. I mean, I'm on Twitch, right? At some point, it's just gonna happen.
Yep. All right, that wraps it up for the games this week. Let's talk about the news.
The news. There's a lot of the news.
There's a lot of
today.
news this week, and not all of it's fun.
A lot of it
A lot of
isn't.
it's not.
A
Well,
lot of
it's
it's
one story that's not fun. I think the other one's
There's
fun.
one
No,
story-
there's 2.
There's
that's not
two
fun.
stories
Never
that
mind.
are not
that are
so
not like
great.
very fun. There's one that's like more. There's one that's less fun than the other one.
But
anyway,
enough of-
let's stop beating around the bush. Okay, Telltale Games shut down,
Friday.
or basically shut down. All but
Essentially.
actually shut down. This was on Friday of last week, literally the day our podcast came out. We were talking about Capcom Vancouver shutting down in that podcast, and Then Friday morning, Telltale Games, they announced they're going to be laying off all of their staff except for 25 people to continue the projects that they had obligations to continue, which people believe to be the Minecraft project for Netflix or something like that.
Well, there was I remember there was the original story from Gamasutra was that they were just shutting down.
Stuff kind of happened all over the place because like
it was definitely like a whole 24 hours of news,
and
it was all like secondhand reporting.
And
at
then
first,
it came out, like, no, they're not shutting down. They're just doing layoffs. And then it was like, yeah, but they're laying off all but 25 people in
out
there.
Of 275 people in the company.
So what do you call that exactly?
Yeah.
Just left some people there to keep the lights on, pay the bills until it's over.
The stuff that's come following this has been a lot of negative, but that is indicative of the game, like the games industry, in terms of talking about how the studio, maybe took on too many ambitious projects than they could deliver, that devs weren't, necessarily being treated in the best fashion in order to
tons and tons of crunch,
get the games out the door and under these strict deadlines. There was even like an initial thing of like, oh, they might finish The Walking Dead or whatever, and then it's like, how is that ever going to do? And now I believe the latest story was that it has been pulled. I think that The Walking Dead has been pulled from
from sale.
From sale, yeah. It's been pulled off of it. Yeah.
Although episode 2 did come out on Tuesday,
which is also crazy because I was like, did they finish all that? And it's like, no, they didn't, because they had to get the other games out first before.
And also that's just how episodic gaming works. Like they didn't have those episodes all finished. Telltale sounds like it's, especially with the reports from how badly managed it was. But even then, like episodic gaming is always kind of about, you sell the first episode so that you can make money to keep funding the later episodes.
The bad part about
it sounds like well, just really quick, it sounds like based off reports that have come out that like Telltale's entire funding model operated off like licensing deals and like investors, basically. Like they weren't they weren't turning a profit off the game sales.
Mm-hmm.
So what it sounds like happened is that 2 of their investors pulled out at the same time, and that was it. Just instantly, even though they were making they're making 6 games or what, they're currently they had The Wolf Among Us 2 apparently in production. They had the Minecraft thing, they had The Walking Dead final season. They had like a couple other things going on, but like because none of those game sales were actually going into the company, or properly at least, like all it took was just like an investor pulling out, and then boom, they're just like the company doesn't have any money anymore.
It's just crazy they were going
it just
that long
seems terrible. It seems so terribly managed,
because Telltale's been around for a long time. Like it's crazy they're still working off investor money.
It sounds like, based off of the reports, that like it was very bad upper management, and all the licensing deals meant that you had to then struggle with license holders to like work with IP holders to make sure this thing looks right and does that right. And it takes way longer to make the game, and you have to pay them money because you're buying the license from them, and then they want part of the cuts of the revenue, so you're not getting the full money off of your game. And
well, it definitely seemed like a weird kind of management and work environment, because I remember we definitely, like, full disclosure, we had a friend who was hired there in July, was part of the layoffs, but previous to that there had been
layoffs last
significant layoffs as well. So like
25% of the workforce last year.
So it was kind of a weird situation where it's like, wait, how are they hiring new people if they apparently just had to lay off a bunch of people?
And it makes more sense that the investors just pulled out and they're like, uh-oh, now we just have to lay off all these people.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. It's not good. Like the way they did it though was just everyone was just let go on Friday basically, and then no severance pay. And there was no warning about this. Like they were still hiring people up until that moment, it seemed like. And
I think there's a story out that is pretty an opinion piece out that's pretty dumb in the way that it approaches this thing, where it's like the reason why Telltale died is that they didn't evolve. But you can imagine if this is the model in which you're strictly you're strictly building games off of your entire business off of investors and licensing deals, that there isn't a lot of room for you to get the game out.
And
you
they put out a lot of games. Like they put out a lot of episodes. There's a lot of content in that, and they were one of the only places that kind of operated on that episodic content like pretty well. Like they actually followed through. I can't remember many other places doing besides like maybe Life is Strange. Hitman.
No,
yeah, I guess you're right.
But that wasn't like a narrative.
That wasn't like a narrative game, you know. Obviously, we saw how Half-Life went, but they did it at a pretty timely rate, and I think that was just because, you know, so many licensing deals, they had to hit those dates, and that in turn led to people crunching themselves trying to hit these dates out.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it just sounds like that's just poor management to begin with, though. You know what I mean? Like to set up those kind of deals and to force your workers to work that way. So that all happened Friday. The extra reports came out over the weekend to kind of clarify the details that we've just gone over. And then what was it? Yesterday, they came out with that other statement. You guys saw that, right?
Which one?
The Twitter post.
I don't know.
Telltale Games tweeted out
latest.
The one where it's like, hey, we've been working with partners. We might be able to finish The Walking Dead.
Yes,
final season. And
it says, quote, "Hi, everyone. We have a Walking Dead update for you. Multiple potential partners have stepped forward to express interest in helping to see the final season through to completion. While we can't make any promises today, we are actively working towards a solution that will allow episodes 3 and 4 to be completed and released in some form. In the meantime, episode 2 will release tomorrow across all platforms as planned. We hope to have answers for your other questions soon."
Which is like, yo, what? I don't know how much effort that takes to actually just be like, hey, you know what? You're going to now take this license, other company who wants to buy it. Maybe with that money, we'll do something with it, but it doesn't sound like...
It just seems really scummy to fire all your people and then go, and then be like, just kidding, we're still gonna try and sell this thing to you. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
it's just not good that they didn't give any severance pay either. And then they're like,
and so the other thing that came out is they're getting sued.
Yeah.
There's a class action lawsuit that's been filed against them for violating the WARN Act, which is a federal law, and it's also a California variation of it as well, that requires you to give a certain amount of notification before layoffs happen, as well as to offer severance. I'm sure there's a bunch of exceptions to that, which Telltale claimed was because they're going to file for bankruptcy. They can't pay severance, but yet they are still continuing operations technically right now and trying to make partner deals to finish The Walking Dead. So that's not a good look for them when a class action lawsuit's being filed against you. So yeah, it's kind of a mess. It really sucks.
It just sucks. I mean,
it sucks a lot because like Telltale's located in San Francisco, which is the most expensive place in the United States to live right now.
Yeah.
And no one got
any warning,
any severance, any warning. Like a lot of people have come forward with, a lot of hashtags and game design jobs in other places, but it's like even if you manage to immediately get hired like this week, that's the paycheck's not coming this week, you know what I mean? Like that's going to be a couple weeks away now. It's like I feel for people. That's really sucky. This is the worst spot in the world to be dropped without a job. Yeah,
it's a lot of bummers. And also, I mean, I know this is lame to talk about, but like now we'll never see Wolf Among Us 2, which is like kind of a bummer too.
Yeah, I mean, Telltale's told some good stories.
There were definitely some good quality
it's sad
ones.
to see them go, and all the work that those people put into it. Like that they.
As much as you can say, like the formula got tired, I still think that every single one of those games that I played was at least competently written or had intriguing narrative elements,
engaging,
to them. Intriguing, right? Engaging narrative elements to them.
Like I think the weakest one we would probably agree is Game of Thrones,
probably,
right?
Yeah.
But even then, I still played all 6 episodes. Like I still kind of wanted to see where it was going, even if I didn't really like it in the end as an overall thing. Like I think, that's something that you can say about it.
I never played any of the other ones, but the first Batman was pretty good.
That was all right.
I never played that one. Never got that one.
I didn't. That was one of the only ones I actually didn't follow.
Still think Tales from the Borderlands is actually one of their best ones.
I think Tales from the Borderlands is maybe.
I have that game, but I've never played it.
You should really play it, especially now.
Time to play it.
It's worth.
It's
genuinely like I think the first episode of the Tales from the Borderlands is the weakest one.
It just keeps getting better.
But it gets better and better and better from there.
I think the Wolf, having not played that one, I think the Wolf Among Us is my favorite one.
Wolf Among Us was really cool for me because I felt like it was what got me into Fables, so I started reading all the Fables books.
I read the Fables books because of Wolf Among Us as well.
That or first season of The Walking Dead. The first season of The Walking Dead is much like the show. The first season of The Walking Dead is the best.
Was Wallace and Gromit games also Telltale?
It was a Telltale game, but I never played it.
Wallace and Gromit, the later Sam and Max games.
Yep, Monkey Island.
That last Monkey Island game.
There was a Jurassic Park game that was bad.
Jurassic Park game that was bad. Back to the Future game, which was apparently not bad.
No, I wouldn't say it's bad, but
I said not bad.
Oh, not bad. Yeah. It's like fine. It is very much on the pre-Walking Dead side of the Telltale game series, though.
Yeah,
like, this is an adventure game. You have to click a bunch, find a bunch of items, and
I feel like that one, and I feel like that one and the Sam and Max games and the Monkey Island ones are probably their most adventure game skewed.
Yes,
I think the Jurassic Park one was probably their first foray into trying to make more actiony. It was bad, but they tried something. And then
what's that Guardians of the Galaxy game?
I only played the first episode and it was good, but I
never
played the first episode.
There's also that Minecraft game with Patton Oswalt.
See, that's another one.
I heard that was pretty good.
I heard that was good too.
I heard that was good. See, that's another one.
They had so many, and it was just like it was one of those things where they came out with so many, unless you're really interested in the IP, or people were like overwhelmingly saying it was great, like Borderlands. Like I was just kind of like, I'm gonna skip that one. I think this time.
Yeah, I think I bought the season pass for the Guardians of the Galaxy one, so that's another one that I could probably sit down and play through.
Yeah. Tales from the Borderlands up there is one of the best ones
for sure.
I should probably replay that because it's been a while, and that's also one of the ones where I don't feel like the choices matter. Like, yeah, it still does the whole thing of like this character will remember that, and it gives your choices at the end of it. But like since it's so much more humor based and not drama based, like the choices don't feel as essential.
And I also think that that's kind of one of the saddest parts about hearing all this news is that they work so hard on all these IPs and working with IPs all the time. And then the one game, Tales from the Borderlands, where they really didn't have to stick close to the IP that much because there was really it seemed like they had free reign to like do almost anything. That was probably their best one is when they didn't have to adhere to what the IP wanted and making like a side story because they could actually make big changes.
Having not played it, I still regularly hear that is their best one.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. And I think
definitely up there.
It's a shame because I was curious what they could have done if they were just doing their own thing or just made their own original characters and all this stuff. Because that's basically what they did for Borderlands, and they worked really well.
It just seems like it was never an option, though, unfortunately.
It seemed like it was never an option with the way the management was, which is a shame. I think this is probably for me, one of the hardest game closures to really witness because it's just like so much unfinished and so much potential. Like a lot of those employees did some great stuff, and now it's gone.
I always forget that one of the options always is just to say nothing in these games. So like they showed a clip from The Wolf Among Us where Bigby gets in the elevator and then Beast like stops it and he's like, "Hey, have you seen Beauty?" And then Bigby doesn't say anything, and then he's just like, "Motherfucker," as the doors close.
Man, there's some good moments in those games.
Yeah, Wolf Among Us was pretty solid. I like that one a lot.
I like that one a lot just because it's noir with seeing all these crazy characters.
Mr. Toad, he's gorgeous, a little guy.
All right.
I didn't get a glamour. I haven't got enough for a glamour.
We should do a Telltale retrospective or something like that, and do a spoiler cast, but for all of the Telltale games that we can remember. Moving on to Sony finally caving in to the Fortnite craze.
I thought I would never see this. To be honest.
So first off, it was a while back. It was actually back in E3 when the Switch dropped Fortnite.
Yes, Fortnite. And then
people
freaked out.
started, people because people are freaked out. They're like, why not? I download everything on my Switch. I'm gonna get this. And then if they had an account that was tied to a PS4 account, the Switch was like, oh, no, you can't use this account.
Yeah.
And it's not our fault. You need to talk to Sony or whatever.
Which is the funny thing, because like it was already happening on the Xbox, because Fortnite had been out on there for
the
a
only
while.
problem is not that many people that own a PlayStation 4 also probably own an Xbox.
Exactly. There wasn't as many people.
But
noticing
a lot of people own Switch though.
Also on the Switch, it actually said, like, instead of just giving an error code, it actually said, like, this account is already tied to another system that would not let us do crossplay.
You should talk to them, not to Epic or to Nintendo or whatever. So Sony's like, all right, enough of that. We're not we're gonna remove that lock, and also now Fortnite
only for this game, right? Only for Fortnite.
Well, just wait. So the Fortnite accounts are gonna be merged across. You can now merge accounts across platforms, so you can have a beautiful single platform. You only have to buy one battle pass and shit like that and stuff. Nice. It's gonna be a great, happy Fortnite experience. Epic, I'm sure, is very ecstatic about this and happy that
they can make more money now.
They can,
even more.
But anyway, but the other thing that came out of this is Sony is experimenting with cross-platform play. They're caving, as Matt said, with Fortnite. Surprise, surprise, being the first game that is going to try this in beta first. Let's see. The first, this is a statement on the Polygon article. The first step will be an open beta beginning today for Fortnite that will allow for cross-platform gameplay, progression, and commerce across PlayStation 4, Android, iOS, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, and Mac operating systems.
If you got it, you could play.
Says John Codera, CEO of PlayStation.
I really wish more people to do this.
We see the beta as an opportunity to conduct thorough testing that ensures cross-platform play is best on PlayStation, while being mindful about the user experience from both a technical and social perspective.
We're gonna have the best one, don't you worry.
We're still gonna have the best cross-platform play. The best place to play cross-platform is still going to be Sony, the PlayStation.
Here's how you share your games. Look, we'll show you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's the rest just seems to be a lot of PR speak.
One thing you also didn't mention was the as far as linking accounts, is a lot of people had to create a second Fortnite account to play into like their Switch or whatever if they had a PlayStation, which is a very common thing.
You can merge.
But now they're working on a ability to merge them, so you can have all your flossing in one account.
Beautiful.
All your flossing in one account. Yep. That's all I care about.
Make sure to floss. And which I think is really cool. I actually did the opposite and was like, oh, they're not letting me merge my account. I'm just not going to play on this one because all my cool Twitch skins are on my PlayStation account.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice to be able to actually merge all this. And you know what? It'll be great.
Play
and then I'll never play Fortnite.
I was going to say.
I don't like Fortnite.
I was going to say, I'm like, man, I just like there's got to be a way that we can break into Fortnite and start enjoying it, right? There's got to be something we're missing, right?
Nah,
we're smart guys.
We're just not young anymore, Rico. We're just not kids anymore. We're just not into the Fortnite.
Maybe that could be it. Well, either way, hey,
it's a good thing. This is a good thing.
But like Ethan said, I actually wasn't expecting this to happen.
I straight up did not expect it, especially at this like.
I'm not sure.
Here's the thing. I was not expecting this level of this to happen. I was maybe wondering if they would cave and allow you to merge to have the accounts, you know, like not lock down the other systems. But the cross-platform thing, I am surprised, and I am surprised at the whole like we're gonna merge all the accounts together so you don't lose any of your stuff, and like that is surprising to me. So
now do it with Monster Hunter so I can play on PC.
Yeah.
The problem with that was that the
they're on different cycles.
Yeah, I was gonna say the update cycle. And
do it with Destiny, so I can play on PC.
That's what Jeff Gersman also wants.
That's an idea.
Yeah, that's what I want.
That's a hell of an idea.
That'd be great. Could actually maybe have enough friends at that point to maybe do a raid.
To an actual raid or two.
I keep hearing about the Forsaken stuff. I keep looking at it and be like,
that Gambit mode looks really fun.
Yeah,
I saw some people streaming that, and I was like, do I want to reinstall Destiny?
It's also like it's a full like what $40 to get all the expansion stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know, $40 is
also Monster. I mean, I know it's like it's a way more stuff included and way more work than just like Capcom being like, we got another monster, here he is, or whatever.
Yeah.
But like Monster Hunter did also spoil me on like, why pay for update when they just keep update game
for free? Yeah,
for free.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely not as expansive, but you know.
Yeah.
Or you could play a monthly fee like a MMO. Nah, let's not do that.
All right, moving on.
Silly place.
All right, are we done with the cosplay stuff? I put this in here.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is definitely a thing that Ethan did because he already tweeted about it.
Let's talk about this new Oculus thing.
Oh, right, this thing.
So
you really are fully in on this VR again, aren't you?
This is I was playing this game before I knew. Well, I knew they had the prototype of this announced a while ago.
Ethan, are you gonna buy another VR headset, a second VR headset?
I might, if depending on how this thing goes, I might sell my.
This is excess. This is a life of excess.
I said I might sell it.
This is opulence. Ethan is the Roman senator of his orgies.
I don't think trading in and selling a headset to get another headset is excessive. I think that's fine.
Fine.
I think that's a normal thing.
I mean, I think that's fine if that's what you do.
Anyway, so they announced the Oculus Quest, which is the full name of their Santa Cruz prototype, which is basically Oculus Go, which was a standalone headset or VR headset. You can just put on your face. You don't need a phone or anything, and you're instantly in VR. This will now give you positional tracking, and it's only $400, which is way lower than I thought it would be. I honestly thought they were gonna jump that up to like $600. But it gives you hand tracking, and you're able to just walk around. And they're doing Oculus Connect right now, which is their big developer conference. And a lot of the demos they had up for this console, because they're calling it a whole console, because you don't need anything else for it, is just huge warehouses that people are just running around and completely free, not doing.
You are all free now.
You're free. Just punching those wires. Which, getting into the VR stuff I was playing the other night, I kept being like, man, I need a longer cord. Like, this sucks. Like, I can't walk farther away because I got a fairly decent sized space in my room to actually walk around. But I kept getting stuck on that cord, and if I just had this, I could just walk around the whole place. If only that cord was
gone. If only someone. There's got to be a better way.
This is, I think, I think all that phone stuff or whatever the Oculus Go is like, oh, that's neat, but you can't look forward, so you're probably gonna get motion sick if you ever move forward. Now you actually will track your head and you can walk around, and I think that is what VR really needed to actually be like, okay, you can now buy this because you don't have to have a PlayStation to play like full console games anymore. You don't have to have a crazy big monster PC, and surprisingly, there's a lot of like Rift titles that are fairly graphic intensive, such as Robo Recall and Moss, that they will be porting to this. Which now I'm thinking about it, the way Robo Recall is built on the Unreal Engine, which is the same thing that Fortnite's built on, so it makes sense they can bring like
Moss might be as well. I can't remember.
You might be right. So
Where's
maybe it has
the Beat Saber?
Better porting.
Where's Beat Saber though?
I don't know. Beat Saber it probably will get ported on there. It might just not announce it yet. They just said 50 titles lined up for launch. We're only announcing
50.
3, though. It's like the PlayStation.
It's like the PlayStation Classic.
Yeah. It's 4 times the price.
Yeah. 4 times the price. At least they're not announcing pre-orders for it yet. But yeah, I think depending on the battery life, and there's a couple other things like what's the clarity of it
that kid's so
look
cool.
like. But it seems like this is kind of the thing I was kind of waiting for, because what kind of sucks is having to set up these sensors all the time and being tethered to this one location when it's like, I'm going to just bring this downstairs and play it in my living room or whatever. I have more room, especially if you have if you don't have a house or anything.
Have Roger attack you.
Yeah, have the dog downstairs attack me while playing it. Extra challenge.
Without the clarification, it's just some guy named Roger.
Roger, no.
Busting in.
Get out of here.
But But that was definitely, I think, the biggest thing was the price point was way cheaper than I thought it was going to be. I was like, oh, that's actually the same price as an actual Oculus Rift with touch controllers. I also wonder if they're going to have cross, like since I own Robo Recall, like would I be able to port my games over? If not, then maybe I won't buy it.
Buy it again.
And I might have to buy it again. Might have to buy the whole thing over again.
Peach.
A new console. It's not a PC.
But I'm on the platform.
You bought it on PC.
But I'm on the platform, the Oculus platform. I don't know.
You
Who
could
knows
ask.
Pay up.
Ask Palmer like.
No,
No,
I have to ask the Zuck.
Oh, the Zuck.
The
The
Zuck.
Zuck. Oh, the Zuck.
It's also crazy because the display resolution will be higher than the current Oculus Rift. Like
I feel like they just always
they're always getting
improve
better. Just things are getting smaller, and I think Matt, we were talking a little bit on Twitter about like the power of this thing. I think it's gonna be like you said, a phone architecture is what a lot of at the developer conference are saying. Imagine developing for the Oculus Go, but now with hands. It's like okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about, like battery life and power.
Yeah,
are gonna be.
It's only about 2 hours.
I mean, and for what I heard, like the Oculus Go was not a bad setup for what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just still not sure it's really gonna be.
I think there needs to be at least 3 hours of battery life, and then you probably should be good because any more of that in VR anyway is a little bit too much. I did that and just had a nice sweat. Just nice sweat around my
and good old, who needs a sauna when you got VR?
Yeah, just sitting there, sit in the virtual sauna and feel like you're in it.
Anyway, well, you know what? I want to feel like I'm in ancient Rome, but I can't.
Why?
Because there's all these women around.
Women
didn't exist back then.
Didn't resist. Didn't exist.
Oh no.
Oh no, what was that?
Not in the,
anyway,
in this current climate, that's not a joke to me.
Creative. It wasn't a joke. So Creative Assembly is
getting review bombed.
Getting
hella
well, yeah.
Which is funny because that game's already been reviewed. Like that game has been out for like 5 years now. I feel like
it's been out forever.
And it's gone through several cycles of review bomb already for other non women related reasons. But like now it's going through its own again.
Yeah.
Because they updated the game a while back to include this whole like family dynasty kind of like aspect to it, where you could like play as a single family. They're kind of trying to add a lot of
Crusader Kings?
Paradox, like Crusader Paradox style like elements to the game. It seems like over time, and so because of that, female generals could spawn because you have women in your.
And they're like, wait a second,
and then everyone's like,
hold on a fucking second, and a lot of as you can imagine, a lot of conspiracy theories came out regarding the fact that their spawn rates for women were higher, and there was an influx and a flooding of women generals into the game, which is clearly pushing to agenda, or where I don't even know what are the fucking talking points that these idiots always touch upon.
It's not historically accurate.
Yeah, well, so
and then it kind of culminated with them like yelling at the community manager about it, and like the community manager offering several who is a woman, community manager who is a woman, and her offering several like workarounds of like, hey, the spawn rates are not broken, but also these factions will never get these factions will never get women generals because that's just not how those factions work. You can mod the game. There's Steam Workshop support that already exists to like take all the women out if it really bothers you that much. And then like people were still going at her, and she's like, "Well, then just don't play the game. Just don't play the game. Then if it's that much of a problem."
Which of course led to
everyone's like,
great. And then so finally, the Total War account on Twitter released a statement that says, "In regards to the current debate about Rome 2," and this is a long statement about.
It just basically goes into details.
There have been no changes to recruitable female spawn rates, but with the addition of the family tree feature and the new gameplay options it brings, playable factions may gain more female family members via marriage. If a player has their male family members seek a wife and get married, more females enter the family. This means more female characters may appear as recruitable generals.
Crazy.
But again, only in those factions where female characters may be recruited as generals.
And then
female characters appear, and then so they get completely transparent.
2018, and we have to like tell you how often women
female
will spawn
characters
in your
appear
game.
throughout the game, but have between a 10 and 15% chance of appearing as recruitable generals for some of the playable factions. The exceptions are the Greek states, Rome, Carthage, and some Eastern factions, which have a 0% chance, and Kush, which has a 50% chance. This is to broadly represent the cultural differences in those factions during the time the game is set. These percentage chances are moddable by players. We've not seen a verifiable bug where this is shown to be different or not working as intended. We have no plans to patch this out or remove this feature from the game.
Suck it.
So Creative Assembly is not the developers of Guild Wars. They don't just cave to...
Yes. And
I also love it that there's definitely some guy or some lady and it's like sitting there and was just looking at this and was like, no, they have a 10 to 50% chance of appearing as recruitable generals, just yelling at the coworkers, being like, I know, it's okay. Well, it's fine. No, I need to explain to these idiots. And then they're just sitting on the keyboard typing it out.
Well, and then you also then the argument changes if you go down into the comments, which is a fucking fun. Actually, no, there's some great comments like, is there a way to make it so that it's 100% chance women will spawn and stuff like that?
Yeah,
but then there's also people that are like, well, technically, Kush should not be 50%, although they were more inclusive than others. 50% is still too far high of a percentage for that to happen. And it's just like, dude, it's a fucking video game, dude. Like,
I also, this is an earlier tweet I think they might have mentioned or some other post, but they basically said Rome 2 is historically authentic, but not historically accurate.
Yeah,
well, I really like that. I really like that quote though. Like as far as any stuff, it's like
that's actually great. Yeah. That's a great quote because
and anyone who thought it wasn't to begin with, it's the same people who complain about Battlefield 5 not being accurate to World War II. Did you think Battlefield was ever accurate to World War II? Even Battlefield 1940, like none of them have been accurate.
Yeah, I actually hope to see that line thrown around a little bit more. That the game is historically authentic. Not historically accurate.
Yeah, because
I love that. Like I think that's the same with Odyssey, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey sort of thing.
Yeah. As someone who is a real big fan of that time period and like actually likes to study the history of like Rome and in that era of like, like you can play as Sparta or Athens in that game, and those city states were not at all powerful or like world game changers. You can play as the Gauls and take over the entire planet, like in Rome 2, because you're the player and you can do things that didn't happen in real life. It's like if it's really that weird that a woman is there, it's just.
Also, if you get stabbed with a sword once, you're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
So video games in which you can take multiple bullets or take multiple hits from a fucking mace in the head.
Not accurate at all.
Not accurate.
Yeah, well.
Therefore, the only historically accurate game is Dark Souls because you're gonna die. Very, very much so if you get hit in the head with a mace. Also, I like this video that pops up on every Polygon page, which is Spider-Man is definitely not murdering people.
Yes.
And then it's just, if you play it, it's just a compilation of Spider-Man clearly killing people.
Yep.
He doesn't kill people in that game. If they've followed the bodies that fly off the buildings, and they always get
stuck to the.
What about if you stick a guy to a trash can and he throw the trash can violently against something and the body like violently throws up in the air and I'm like, I think that guy's dead.
I did that with a car door. I stuck him to a car and then like later on like, oh, I'm gonna grab this car door and it's like the guy is still on it. And
he's like, ah!
Then he goes flying in this terrible.
That guy's dead. Like that guy's dead.
Yeah. All right.
All right, enough of that.
That's
the trash
terrible,
boys.
The terrible garbage internet boys are being terrible again this week news story.
Ethan, you have two screens up here, and I can't tell which is like actually being displayed. So it's like I'm like, are people looking at the document right now?
No. That's queued.
Oh, Oh,
hit this button, and it'll
it is
transition
cute.
Oh, thanks. That's cute.
Aww. Let's move on to trailer trash.
Trailer trash, dango. I think I'm cute. Get her though.
Trailer trash. It's a segment every week where we watch a bunch of trailers that came out, or maybe it came out 2 months ago, and then we talk about them, and then we decide which trailer won.
Should we just remove that
This
No,
week,
we're gonna throw it. We'll just leave it all there. Whatever.
this week we've got a bunch of trailers, just like last week.
Believe it.
Let's
or
talk
not.
about them. The first one is Vader Immortal, Episode 1, teaser trailer. This one is
it's coming out. They announced it as well with the
Ethan
new
saw it
headset.
and was like, "Oh,
VR game."
Well, what's weird about it is, remember how I mentioned the Void? That's that I don't know, standalone VR experience that you
Yeah.
can go to at Downtown Disney. This is the sequel to that, or the sequel to that game, because at the end of that something happens.
Oh my god.
It's not that crazy. This is apparently the sequel.
Did Darth
to
Vader?
it.
Did Darth Vader show up at the end of that?
Whoa!
You went
Spoilers.
to
Yes,
that without
he shows up,
I
and it's
wasn't
very scary.
invited to that.
Yeah, Ethan goes to a lot of places without us.
I didn't get
He should only be
I'll go
hanging out
again.
with us
I'll
every
just go
every
again.
day.
I'm joking, dude.
Oh, okay.
I'm joking. That's expensive.
It is like $30. Yeah. So they announced this. It's a quick trailer about Mustafar, and they're very excited to have him in there, and Darth Vader walking around. It takes place after Episode 3,
So
but before
you
4.
you don't play Darth Vader? Darth Vader?
Darth
What the
Vader,
fuck?
yeah.
You
Got
don't
it.
play Darth Vader? What
don't.
if Zelda was girl? You play
who would
as
fight Luke?
Who do you play as then? Just you?
Probably some Padawan or something weird, because they do have a lightsaber. And it looks like you're gonna fight some
Yeah,
random
it's
generic
fight
person.
against
I would have
Vader.
liked to be Vader, and then like just had the Oculus constantly
Also-
be flooded with my own
I'm
breathing.
gonna freeze this video frame here for a second.
Yes.
Look how bad this character model looks of the second guy in the
Which
background
guy?
besides Vader. He looks a little blocky to me.
Is there a guy?
The guy to the left?
Yeah, that guy.
What even is that
He
guy?
looks blocky.
Is
or
he
he
a
has the mask
droid?
on. I don't know.
I can't see this. Yeah, it doesn't even look like a guy. I thought that was like a weird spinny computer
Well,
thing.
no,
or
there's
something
like there's like the interrogation droid thing.
Oh, I
to
can't
the right,
see it
I
very well
think.
on the stream. I guess I gotta pull this up. The stream must be like a darker.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it might
not
be.
that big of a
It's
deal.
not that big of a deal, but I just thought it was weird that they're like, let's just have this not high resolution.
Ethan just will
dude.
take any shot at a game.
I got a
to
feeling-
say
I got a
that
feeling
looks
this-
like.
I just thought part looked weird. It's a weird thing. Especially with such little footage, you choose to pick that. All right. All right, we got another game that also looked not fantastic.
Oh God.
Pillar launch trailer Xbox One. This first off, besides this game not looking that great, this is not a great trailer.
I don't know what's going on at all.
We don't know what's going on in this trailer. It'd be really good to know what was going on.
There's tiles with numbers on them,
Mhm.
and they do different things. And then you throw a green ball at Manhead,
Yeah,
and he come over, walk.
it
to
seems to
you.
be kind of a stealth thing, maybe. But it's really hard to
It's a lot of
tell.
standing
honestly.
on things, watching lights come on with numbers. It looks a little. I feel bad, but like a little amateur. The
Oh,
art
for
style
sure.
doesn't look very cohesive. I don't know. It bums me out, man, because I feel like they probably worked hard on this game, and man, it just doesn't look very good.
Yeah, it just didn't sell me at all. I'm afraid.
But you know,
It's just like, yeah. I don't really know what to say about it. I don't want to. I don't want to just.
Yeah,
I don't
I
want
don't
to just
wanna
sit here
harp on
and
it too
shit on
much.
it. Yeah. It just. I wish I had something that I could say that
a nice
maybe
thing,
intrigued me. Yeah. I just.
but there's not much that looks nice. Especially that fog effect. All
Yeah.
right, let's move on to the next.
Is
trailer.
this the game that's already been out for 2 months? I can't remember which one.
No,
it
no,
was.
no. That comes
It's
later.
later.
Well, now we're talking about Starlink Battle for Atlas story trailer, which
Star Fox.
This
Battle
looks
for
good,
Atlas.
this
dog.
looks actually pretty good.
This
This
looks
looks
pretty
really
good.
fun. Yeah, this looks neat.
This definitely turned me around a little bit as far as like, oh, man, I want to play this game. I want to play a space game with Star Fox characters inserted into Fortnite character style.
Yeah, with also Darth Vader,
Darth Vader
in this
reappearing
too.
in Mustafar.
Mustafar, but he's a bird with
He's a bird
snake.
face.
Man.
This game looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no game. There's no
I'm
gameplay
just really
in
surprised
this
that
trailer.
but we already kind of know what it's
Yeah.
like. it's like a Star Fox-esque, maybe some slight more detailed there, but
it's more Star Fox than you think, because Star Fox is not just like kind of a me and Matt
we
thought
thought
the same thing.
we thought it was gonna be like some sort of just like, hey, the bonus for buying it on the Wii, on the Switch is that you get Star Fox is there, and you just get his ship, But like he's in the cutscenes, which
talks a lot.
But then it's like, then what? But then what happens if you don't buy it on Switch?
Is it multi-platform? I thought it was only on Switch.
I thought no, they showed it off with PS4.
No, yeah, I think they showed it with the PS4 controller also.
Yeah.
Huh.
So he cannot be in the story that much. Like he had like he may be in cutscenes.
That might have been it. That might have been it.
He can't be in
What if you just hear him at the very beginning? If you buy it on PS4, you just hear a voice that sounds like Star Fox at the very beginning, and he says, "Sorry to jet, but I'm in a hurry." And then you just never see him. And then his ship takes off, and you never see him. And it's like, technically, he wasn't ever in the game. Also, I noticed this one dude with the blue hoodie. He's got a monkey on his hoodie, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Andros.
You wearing that around Star Fox? That's Andros, motherfucker.
Oh man,
you gonna listen to that monkey? I mostly just want this to be good and think it looks good because I'm like, man, it's kind of like Star Fox, another Star Fox game. Maybe there'll be another good Star Fox game.
We need one desperately. It's just so surprising that they don't have. Oh, I
time
forgot.
To rock and roll, boys.
I also wonder how prominent the Toys of Life stuff is. Like, do you have to buy toys?
I feel like it's very. I feel like it is.
Yeah,
that's the one maybe caveat to this game is that it feels very. I wonder. You know what? I wonder if there's like a side mission that is like all Star Fox that's exclusive to the Switch, and then therefore like that's where all the story bits.
According to Wikipedia, Nintendo also confirmed that the Switch version will include exclusive missions that feature crossover appearances by characters and ships from Star Fox.
Well, so I wonder if it's gonna be like spin-off missions. Like you go to the main menu and you go or Star Fox missions, and then like that's the ones he's in,
right?
And it doesn't, and it's not like
That's probably more accurately. It would be funny if it would be funnier if he was actually like a main character, but obviously they can if it's multi-platform.
Yeah.
Fox, that's one of ours.
Get this guy off me.
Well, it wouldn't be a trailer trash if we didn't have one of these trailers.
What trailers? What are you talking about? Lions Film Games?
Bank
of Innovation?
Yeah, just lots of anime ladies.
What's going on?
Anime lady trailer.
Oh, I mean, this just looks like
you mean Crip Track?
Crip Track.
Crip Track.
Tracked. Which is kind of hard to say. Crip Tracked.
Yeah, she has a nice hat.
Crip Track.
Yeah. Very nice hat.
Froze has a big sword.
So, listen, this is an RPG, okay, guy? Ethan?
Right. It's about taming monsters and fighting
Leveling
monsters, and that's it. That's all of it. There was nothing that happened over the internet recently. We didn't actually talk about that.
What didn't we talk about?
I don't remember.
The latest horny Nintendo thing.
Oh,
that's what happened.
That happened like the day after our podcast last time too.
Literally been taking over the internet all day.
I somehow avoided all that and actually learned about it in my Monday stream.
I just saw the artwork and I was like, what is this? I was like, is this a new character? Like, is this really like a thing that's happening?
I thought it was.
Yeah, it's all based off of one. It's all based off of one comic that came out. Like
anyway, we're talking about Bowsette.
Bowsette, yeah, we had to talk about Bowsette.
We have to talk about Bowsette.
The internet freaked out about this whole thing, but I couldn't help thinking like, there's probably been like DeviantArt of this for like a decade, right? Like, but this is not a new
DeviantArt is its own like little
but now it's
box.
Like there's an actual way,
an official explanation.
There's like an actual way that Bowser could potentially look like this.
And then Nintendo responded. Nintendo responded like something.
So the
implying officialness would be
the idea is the idea is that in the Super Mario Bros. U version for Switch, the update for Switch, because for some reason they decided to remake this game for Switch, because they just
no Wii U, so might as well games there.
that there's a special item that Toadette can get. It's a princess crown, which will turn her into Peachette, which is basically Peach, but with like touches of Toadette's like aesthetic to her. Which made everybody say, "But wait, what if Bowser got that item? Would he become sexy lady?" And then there was that one comic where it was like, "Oh, you went back 2 games." No, it was I
have to watch this trailer over and over again because we talked about.
We have to watch
where it was like, "Oh, Peach rejected Mario and Bowser, so Bowser puts on the crown, and then they get together." Heteronormative relationship, even though it's not really that normative. But anyway. Yeah, so that everybody's been real horny about Nintendo lately.
I think that like everyone wants to make Nintendo more horny because it makes Nintendo corporate really uncomfortable when people do
really
that.
funny.
It's just there to
move over Twintel.
Move over Toad. You had your moment in the limelight last week. Now it's time for Bowsette to take the stage.
Bowsette enter Smash. She's the last character.
No, you don't want Bowsette to enter Smash.
I want to smash with Bowsette.
Oh no, I was gonna say something, but I don't think I should say it. Mario and Luigi, Bowsette's inside story.
She gives
Crypt Tract is whatever it's
anyway,
it's like some
Creed.
Let's move on.
Rise to Glory.
Man, you know what every really good movie needs? Really terrible license game tied into it. What is this?
I've
the year
heard
2000?
positive things about it.
Really? About this game?
Yeah, from people who played it.
Interesting.
They thought it was all right. Like it's not like amazing, but
it doesn't look great. But I could see it maybe being fun. I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it is PlayStation VR. You can only expect so much from the way it looks. But mostly
why does everyone look like a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out character?
Because it's
guys.
I don't know.
Because nobody's allowed to be better looking than Michael B. Jordan. It's in his contract. No,
it's in his contract. No, that's not in his contract. They just can't. Like it just can't be done.
Can't do it.
They can't get the graphics.
Don't even try. Might as well just make everybody else uglier.
Yeah.
That guy looks humanish because I believe that's the guy he fought in the first Creed. So it's like they can't.
They bring him back.
They can't.
And then they got this giant dude.
Yeah.
Who's just completely muscles. This looks interesting. I've heard that there's actually a multiplayer in this game too, which seemed okay. I don't know. I haven't heard a whole lot. I heard positive things, but not why.
Positive things from people playing like the demo at places.
E3, so I don't know if the whole game is good, but it's coming out today on PlayStation VR, and I believe it's also on Oculus and Vive. So I don't know.
Boxing.
Curious about it. VR boxing.
Did you see Creed?
No, I miss Creed.
Have you seen any of the Rocky movies?
I've seen the first Rocky movie.
Okay.
I think that's it.
I have not seen any of them.
That's one of my favorite films, like series, is the Rocky movies. And Creed is
very good.
Creed is excellent.
I heard Creed is very good.
The new
Creed 2 is
one
coming out soon.
Yeah, the trailer dropped today, I think, and I haven't seen it yet. But hey, Drago, his son.
Yeah.
He's there.
Because everybody's sons has got to show up.
Fight.
Hey, man, people have sons.
Isn't that
they
weird?
Never have daughters. Rome 2 is wrong. People are not allowed.
Why did they have Balboa?
Oh, I get it. It's like Star Wars.
They had one called Rocky Balboa, right?
Yeah,
They have one just called Balboa, and then they have this one Creed.
What?
This one's called Creed, like the series, this kind of spin-off. It's his last name.
Well, because it's the Rocky series.
Okay.
Now this is the Creed series.
Okay. So he's just the last name instead of the first name this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they don't. His name is Adonis. They're not just gonna be like, oh, it's Adonis. Nobody knows who that is. You know who they know is Apollo
I guess people
Creed.
know who Creed is because the last name. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. You gotta market it in the end.
Indeed.
Well, game you have to market. Apparently. Oh, this isn't the one that hasn't come out. This has been out, or it's coming out now. Metal Max Xeno launch trailer, which is anime, RPG.
What console is this game coming out for? Because I feel like it never said.
PS4.
Really, it does not look like
it
a
looks
PS4
bad. It looks like
game.
a Switch. It looks like a bad Switch game.
Yeah, I thought this was gonna be a 3DS game.
Honestly, it could be a port of a 3DS game.
Yeah,
It's
this does not look like a game that was built for PS4. But I mean, again,
you can build anything for PS4. You know, it just might not take full.
Sure. Yeah. Right. I guess.
advantage
Right.
of the graphics. Yeah, there's a lot of characters running around, and I guess they just go in tanks after you see them, and then they just drive around and fight. One thing that I thought was really cool about this trailer is the fact they have like a giant, like, what is it, a turtle in a freaking ship. It was inside of it. It was insane. And there's like a rhino with a bunch of rockets on it.
There's like a shark, like a desert shark
with like a billion eyes. Oh, it was a freaking dinosaur. It was
it's
like a brontosaurus.
Yeah.
Hanging out on the ship. I like that.
Gotta shoot all these robo dinosaurs with your tanks. I like the tagline too. What was the tagline? Like devastate or like fight humanity devastated.
Human demise, tank salvation. Tank salvation. Also, this says 25th anniversary, which makes me feel like then this
has this Metal Max game series been around that long?
I've never heard of them before.
The graphics look like they're from 25 years old. Hey, got him.
Ow, my hand.
Actually, it would have been worse, but you know.
Yeah, close enough.
And now this is the game that already is out on Switch, but it has a very cool trailer. It's the Ultra Space.
Yeah, we won't
spend
too long on it because it technically does not count because the game came out in July apparently. Although this trailer for some reason just released today on Game Trailers YouTube channel. But it looks like a mix between like Lethal League and Breakout, kind of like or like I guess Pong and Breakout, like in a
like a. It's got a very like Lethal League kind of, not a 1-to-1 on the art style, but it has that aesthetic to a certain extent.
Speaking of which, there's a new Lethal League.
I've heard coming out.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
It's good. It's a good game.
Yeah, the aesthetic is pretty neat, and the gameplay seems interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up some stuff about this game because I've not heard of it, despite it coming out in March 23rd or something like that. So it's been a few months.
Yeah, it has been a bit. But it looks neat. At least visually, it's interesting.
I wonder what the critical reception this was.
I don't know. Let's move on to something that has poor reception from me.
The
most hardcore Pokemon Go player among us.
New Pokemon discovered, introducing Meltan.
So this is
also a bad name for this Pokemon as well.
Meltan is better than how it looks.
So this
looks like ass.
This is a new.
But how do you really feel, Ethan? How do you really feel about it?
So this is a trailer that, first of all, it shows Professor Willow talking to Professor Oak. Professor Willow, obviously from Pokemon Go. Professor Oak from Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu. And they keep the aesthetics for each of the games.
Yeah.
So Professor Oak looks like a really janky, square,
so weird
cartoon character,
cartoony dude.
And Professor Willow looks like his handsome grandpa self.
Handsome hop-on.
His handsome Anderson Cooper.
But you know what looks worse than both of them is this freaking Pokemon that has a nut on its head. That's all it is.
Somebody
does look
nutted on
really bad.
Someone has finally nutted on a Pokemon. That's what they said. They said, put a nut on it.
Considering that how it's supposed to be like this legendary
mythical Pokemon.
Mythical Pokemon.
It's a freaking nut
with a ditto body.
That's ditto body.
Yeah, that's like
that with like weird crappy arms
with a wire coming out of its butt.
Its butt, and then it's got an eye. It's terrible. Like this is.
Yeah, honestly, when I saw that, I think it was Justin Wong I saw first like tweet about it because he literally plays Pokemon Go more than he plays fighting games.
Shots fired.
Hey, he plays it a lot.
He plays it a lot. He was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it looked like a glitch.
Honestly, I thought it was a glitch.
It looks like a glitch because the Pokemon is seems like so half baked in its design.
Well, I wonder because this is like the first time this Pokemon's ever shown up, right? Mm-hmm. So I wonder if Niantic and it's like to the Pokemon company like our game's super popular. We should like release a totally new Pokemon never seen before and have it be on our game on Pokemon game for first. And Pokemon company is like, we don't really want to do that because we want to save all our Pokemon for the thing, but your game is very popular, so we should do that. here, which one of those Pokemon did we like scrap from the last game because it didn't look very good? Yeah, this one you can use that. That's you can.
Can we make it legendary?
Yeah, well, sure, I guess.
The funny thing is that there, like months back, they showed all those original Pokemon designs that like never saw like
the light of day.
The light of day because like they had even made sprites for them, but they just had never.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's like why not take one of those? Like there were some pretty like goofy but like neat designs in there. Why not just take one of those guys and make them into a Pokemon in Pokemon
this
Go?
Looks
or
like
something.
the freaking honeycombs you collect in Banjo-Kazooie come to life. But like,
they already
awful.
do because they're like.
Yeah. I'm a honeycomb. You can eat me to heal one.
Yeah, and those guys had 2 eyes. This dumbass has 1.
Ditto does a bad job at impersonating things. It's just like I don't. That's the thing. It's weird.
I like how he tries. Okay. I like Ditto. He's a cool Pokemon.
No, Ditto's cool.
And he tries, and he has a little smile every time, no matter what.
I feel like Ditto tried to make a new Pokemon. This is what
you know why Ditto always has that smile on his face?
Because he's what?
Because Ditto fucks. Literally, that's what Ditto is like used for in Pokemon games, is because he can breed with any other Pokemon.
Ditto gets way more action than any other Pokemon.
He's the Ditto is the Gigolo of Pokemon. You're saying
that's his next evolution.
Ain't picky either because he can roll any gender.
He's the concubine of Pokemon games. All right, moving on.
Speaking of something less comprehensible than this character's design.
Than Meltan.
Yeah. Hey, TGS showed off. Kojima wanted to be like, I really like all my actors from the last game I made. You know who I want to include? I want to include Troy Baker again. So
we're gonna reveal him.
Here he is as a guy in a golden skull mask, and then he shoves the skull mask onto the ground, and then he throws it up into the sky, and then it makes a big gold lion.
Nothing makes any sense.
And the lion with a butthole mouth.
And then Norman Reedus doesn't say anything.
Norman Reedus doesn't say anything. Also, he has a lady on his back. It looks very well tied up, and it's just like, I guess this is comfy.
Oh, I didn't even notice that she was on his back.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. I didn't notice it. Until
also, Troy Baker also has a baby, and the baby's tank like glows red.
Well, I think everybody has a baby. The implication that people seem to be working out last time, and I don't know if this was ever confirmed or if this is just all fan theory, but everyone was saying that like the weird ghost people make you age really fast, and the baby is a clone of you.
Yeah.
So you carry around a clone of yourself, so that if you die, that the baby is how you like that'll age really fast and become an adult again, and then you get your memories and you're still alive. I don't know.
Yeah. That's one of the theories I saw kicking around. And I actually saw kicking around that the rain is what makes you old and not the creatures.
Okay, so maybe
sure.
I don't know.
And then everybody's got the little robot arm on their back.
That, like detects when bad shit's happening. And the different people have different looking ones. I don't know.
This game is
I am dying to see what this game ends up being.
I'm happy it's only a minute, 10 minutes long, unlike all the other trailers which are super long.
Yeah.
This is so weird.
Again, Troy Baker, really Troy Baker in it up here.
He sounds very Troy Baker.
The monster design's cool.
I like the way he looks.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool monster, cool looking monster. But also, they've not shown really any like kind of combat in this or anything. So it's like, what are you supposed to do with that? I don't know. It's such a weird fucking.
You run away and the lady in the back kicks it, trying to keep it away.
Oh yeah. You just throw her in.
No, man. She just kicks it actively as she run away. It's like having like an old dog fighting pilot or a bomber pilot in the back. They have a machine gun. It's like that.
Light kicking, I'm sure, would repel the giant gold lion.
Just making stuff up. It's all possible. Who knows?
I mean, that's what Kojima's doing. Sure is just making stuff up.
Making stuff up. Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate, I think.
Do it. Kick it. All right.
All right. Well, guys, this is a tough one. What wins this week's trailer trash?
I
don't know. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna say Starlink.
Yeah, new Pokemon. No. All right.
Starlink.
Okay. I thought we were
Starlink, because I want to actually play that game now. I had kind of little interest in it. Now I have more.
Yeah, I would say Starlink as well.
Stop.
Well, that was easy, everyone. That was easy.
That makes it easier than I thought. I honestly forgot Starlink was
win.
in the options. So, yeah.
Easy operation.
That's all for this week's trailer trash, and that's all for this week's podcast. So, thank you all for watching or listening on either twitch.tv/pixel_legends, or if you can help the Pixel Podcast on iTunes, you can give us a subscription there, and you'll get us every week, usually on Friday mornings. But this week it'll be a little bit early on Thursday. So yeah, that's about it. Check out our Twitter page, our Facebook page, and all that good stuff to get updates about when we post and go live. Ricardo streams on Wednesdays usually, and Sunday.
Wednesdays and Sundays. Yep.
Is it Sundays?
So Sunday, so
Dark Souls 3, right?
Yep, I'll be streaming this Sunday, and that's probably it. I was thinking maybe possibly Friday night, but I'll probably just be resting that night. Yeah. So Sunday for sure, and then we'll back to Wednesday, Sunday next week.
Sunday for sure. Ethan streams Overlord on DS somehow on Monday.
I will figure out a way, but the next game is Overlord on DS called Overlord Minions, because I beat Overlord 2. Which
what's your opinion? Overlord 2, Overlord 1. What's the takeaway?
Overlord 1 is a clearly better game.
Really?
Overlord 2 has some quality of life features that make it better, but overall Overlord 1 is more polished, more cohesive style and structure.
Wow.
To it, while the second one is it loses a lot of the charm because I feel like they're stuffing too many things into it, too many new bells and whistles don't really add anything.
I feel like that's why I fell off of that game eventually as well.
And the ending is bad. The ending is, well, the actual boss fight's bad and okay, but getting up to the ending is there's so few checkpoints. If you die, you have to start really far back. It sucks.
Ugh.
Very frustrating.
Was this Dark Souls?
No, because Dark Souls is like not. This is
it's structured around that.
It's very unfair. You expect that, and this is all of a sudden at the end. It's like, oh, guess what? A meteor comes out or a catapult comes, kills you instantly, and you have to start all the way back and lose all this progress. It
Not
sucked.
good.
Maybe very frustrating. It soured me on that game.
I'm sure
Amber and I will be playing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm sure this DS game will be better.
The DS game, is weird. I just started up.
The DS game spin-off based only on the minion characters is gonna be a great one. In fact, I feel like, guess what, Ethan? I feel like you might have played the best 2 Overlord games already.
I think you're right. So we're just going on a downhill ride. So hope you guys join with me.
Well, not me, but Amber is going through Mass Effect for the first time. Mass Effect 2. Once I reinstall every single game file in that, for that, then we will be back on that starting on Saturday evening at 8 p.m. Check us out there on my Twitch page, and that's twitch.tv/Matagami. All right, everybody. That's the podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye.